Hello everybody, hope you guys are well and safe. I come back with part 2 of our new series of HTTP, HTTPS and SSL certificate. It's a pretty interesting series and I hope you liked the first lecture. And now we are going to move to the part 2, and it is very important part, and I would suggest you to watch this tutorial with your full focus and concentration, because I'm gonna cover some important stuff important stuff in this tutorial, and the stuff which you really need to understand to get the insights of the HTTP, HTTPS and SSL certificates particularly. And of course it's very important in terms of the security purposes as well. So we will jump to the agenda today. So the agenda is symmetric algorithm and how RSA protocol works, what is public key infrastructure, what is a MD5 and SHA, asymmetric encryption and PKI. So these are the important topics. We may not cover the asymmetric or encryption or PKI in this tutorial, because this tutorial is gonna be long, but the next part will come soon and we will cover those. But it is very important, very important topic, so I would suggest you to stay tuned to this video, and I'll start my video now. So the first thing is the symmetric. Okay, so what does that mean? What exactly symmetric encryption is? So the data is encrypted on one side, as you can see in the diagram, and using a special key, and then encrypted data is sent to the receiver or client, and that receiver client decrypts the received data using the same key. And again, the main point here is that those keys here on both sides are the same. That's why this type of encryption is called symmetric encryption. Okay, because they use the same key on both sides. And but of course, any person who have the access to this key can easily decrypt the data and can gain access to the data. And that's the drawback of this protocol or this algorithm. So this is the symmetric. I hope you understand that, but if you don't understand symmetric, you can come back to me and I can explain, or can leave your comment under the video and I will reply to them. The next is of course the encryption algorithm, and as you can see, I have covered many of the algorithm there, as you can see there. Now we have days, we have 3 days, we have AES, we also have the RSA. Okay, now let's start from the days encryption algorithm. It is symmetric, as you can see in the diagram, and it is symmetric key encryption algorithm. It means that it uses the same key for encryption and decryption, and the length of this scheme is 56-bit. So for example, encryption key length will be 56-bit. But the problem is, of course, it's pretty old and it is not used anymore for encryption, because it is very easy for decrypt the data, and so it is easy to hack or easy to get access to data. Then of course we also have 3 days. There is a modification on days algorithm basically, and which perform encryption actually 3 times one after other, and it based actually on days algorithm. The 3 days basically based on days algorithm, but again it's vulnerable to different kinds of the attacks that gives you access to original data. And does this algorithm is also considered deprecated as well, and it's not recommended. So as you can see that it's deprecated, it's sold, so we don't use it. We used to have this at one time, but we don't use it anymore now. No, the next thing is of course the AES. It's the modern encryption algorithm and most commonly used nowadays, and AES stands for the Advanced Encryption System. Okay, now this algorithm allows you to utilize keys of different lengths. Okay, so for example, there is AES 128-bit algorithm as well. There is also AES of 256 bits, and that means that it's a key length. You can choose whatever suits you, and this algorithm, that like we used it more often, and the same as DES and 3DES, it is also a symmetric key encryption algorithm, but it is much more secure and have keys of big length. So if we have a key of the big length here, we can we can it is hard to decrypt basically. So that's what the AES is. The next is RSA and asymmetric encryption. We will talk about it in the next lecture. For now, I will try to cover the symmetric first, and then we'll move to asymmetric, so that we don't mix up. So we'll stick to the symmetric for now. Now the next thing is the hashing. What is hashing is, okay, hashing algorithm. A hashing, as you can see, the hashing algorithm is a mathematical function that garbles data and makes it unreachable. Hashing algorithms are one-way programs, so text can't be unscrambled and decoded by anyone else. Okay, now what is hashing is, and I'll explain it to you. Don't break your nerves here. Now here is you can see the diagram here. So what will happen is we will create if we have a data, for example, if we have a text file, so we create a hash of that text file. Okay, can be the length of 160 bit or 128 bit, depends on you. We create the hash. Okay, now before we have discussed like encryption algorithm and symmetric encryption algorithm, and usually used for making data unreadable for third parties. Okay, now of course this data is encrypted during the transfer over the network and could be easily changed, compromised, or something like that, and that will lead to a situation when the receiver will not able to read the original data. So for example, if I send some data over the network and somebody intercept my traffic over the network, and maybe make a change, and I get the different data, okay, or maybe I get an error, so that's where the hash comes in. Okay, so what exactly hash do is that it's if hash is like a fixed length string, and its length maybe 128 bits or 160 bit or maybe 256 bits or something longer, and this length depends on the algorithm that we use for creation of hash. Okay, so how hash algorithm usually work is it takes input data, and data may have a variable length, so it may be just a single word, or it may be a sentence, or it may be even a file, for example. And when this hash function is applied, it creates fixed length hash based string on the input of data, and it creates irreversible hash. What it means is that it will create, it's a, like as I mentioned in the diagram as well, it's a one-way hash function. Okay, now I know I'm like explaining it too much and then throwing too much material on you, but in the next example you will completely understand what hashing is and what exactly mean. Okay, so stay tuned to this video. You will get to learn a lot from this. Now so that's a basic an overview. Okay, so in the next diagram I'll show you how the hash exactly works. So you can check the diagram here. Okay, now if we have you can see the diagram here. We have a data. Okay, we applied the hash function on the data. What will happen is that hash function will create a hash string, okay, or hash function, and it will attach the data with it, and then it will send to the to the receiver or client. Now, in the receiver or client, what will happen is there is also a hash function there as well, okay, and that hash function will create another hash function from the data which is already attached to the hash function by the sender. And when it's create the hash function of that data, it will compare that hash to the hash attached to the data. Okay, when it compare the hash created from the received data, and it will compare the hash function with the received hash function, and then it can verify the integrity of the data. Okay, now I understand that you have a question. If we are sending the data, like, plain data, maybe over the network to the receiver, what does hash exactly do here? Like, data is still not encrypted, so you can see the keys as well. So of course we encrypt the data as well, and which also decrypt as well. Okay, now what hash do is hash will of course check the integrity of the data. Okay, so for example, if we create a hash of a file, and then if we change a single character and we create another hash, that hash string will be completely different from the previous one. So if you change a single character in the data, the hash key will be completely changed. Okay, now I was talking about the data encryption. So of course we can take care of the data encryption, and usually data encryption happens before the creation of the hash. Okay, hash algorithm works in such a way that even small change of the data will lead to the completely different hash creation. Okay, and so that's the thing. So basically we perform not just integrity check of the data, but we also authenticate the sender as well in this. So you are understanding my point here now. Now the next slide here, the hashing algorithms, what we have here. So you can see we have MD5, SHA, and HMAC or HMAC there. Okay, now MD5 is, as you can see, that it is 128-bit string or hashing algorithm. So what basically MD5 is, so if you can see here, like MD5 means message digest algorithm. Okay, is a cryptographic protocol used for authentication message as well as content verification and digital signatures. MD5 is based on a hash function that verifies that a file you sent matches the file received by the person you sent it to. So as we mentioned in the hashing algorithm, we check the authenticity of the sender, and we also perform the integrity checks here. So you can see the MD5 here. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna give you some examples here. Okay, so you understand the how MD5 will work. Okay, and how these things are being done in the, for example, in the real world. So let's jump on to the terminal. If you have a Windows, you can use the command line, or if you have a MacBook, you can use terminal. I'm going to use the terminal. I have the MacBook, so let's jump onto that, and I'll discuss further. Okay, so here we are now I have the terminal here. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a file here. Okay, so you can say new file .txt. Okay, file is created. I'm gonna open this file, and I'm gonna write something here. You can use whatever editor you want to use. I'm gonna type here like hello there. Okay, So for example this one. All right, I'm going to save it. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create the MD5 encryption on this file. So if I write here, and you can see that I got this string here. Okay, you can see the string here. And so for example, go back to the terminal here, sorry, to the browser. MD5 hashing, or we can say the MD5 generator maybe. And yeah, here we are. So if I say, like for example, cat to new file, what do we have here? So you can see this, we can copy this, we want to go there, we want to generate this. Okay, now MD5 is created here as well, as you can see. All right, for hello there. Okay, and we can also create it online as well. All right, and you can see one thing which you want to test it quickly. Hello THERE. And if we generate this, so you can see that it's generating the same. And so for example, if we do this now here, and it's creating the same. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to change one thing only here. And so for example, if I just put exclamation here, I'm gonna save this, I'm gonna create another one, and you can see it's completely changed. Okay, we can do it here as well. And if we generate this, you can see it's completely changed from the previous one. Okay, so this is, you know, how the encryption work here. Okay, and it is very, very important that you understand these concepts to jump further in this tutorial. Now the next thing is, and I'm going to go back to the slides here actually, and you can see that I already covered the MD5. Now the next one is the SHA1, sorry, SHA1, and I already copied this, so let me open up the SHA1 here. So what is SHA1 exactly? SHA1, and you can see that SHA1 hash is used to authenticate messages sent between the client and server during the TLS handshake. All right, now we go back to the slides here. Actually, I just copied the wrong one here, but look, we'll see it later. Yeah, so in SHA, as you can see that we have different hashing algorithm here. Okay, now we have SHA1, we have SHA-256, we have SHA-512. Now you can see from the name, apart from the first one, which is of course the SHA-1, it has 160 bit of the length, but if you check the second SHA-256 and SHA-512, as we can see from the name, it is 256 bit for SHA-256 and 512 bits for SHA-512. So we can create or generate the encryption for them. Okay, now so for example, I'm gonna get the same file. Okay, I'm gonna use the SHA-SUM, and I'm gonna create like the encryption. You can see I haven't specified anything here, like what's the encryption string bits are there, so it's by default is 160 bits. Okay, but if you want to change it, all right, so what I can do, I'm gonna go again -A, I can create 256 file, and you can see that we have a different key generated. Okay, now it's more secure as much as we increase the numbers of the length of the strings. You know, you can see that it's gonna create more and more complex key there, which is really hard to break. Okay, the same thing which you can do, for example, if you want to create a 512, here you go. Now it have a more bigger key there. And if we go back, we're getting the SHA-1 here, by the way, but SHA-1 was the Yeah, see that? Yeah. So that's how we create the keys as well there. And oh sorry, yeah, the last one is the left, that HMAC algorithm. So HMAC algorithm might be used like a standalone, but usually it used in combination with SHA or MD5. Okay, it usually used in combination with SHA and MD5 hashing algorithm. And the main purpose of this protocol, the main purpose of this algorithm is that it add a special secret key into the SHA and MD5 hashing algorithms. So that's the purpose of the HMAC. So I hope, guys, you like these tutorials. If you have any questions or anything you want to correct, I'm still learning myself as well. So if you want to correct anything, please feel free to comment below the video, and I'll be happy to get myself correct here. But as you can see that I have to search a lot for this, and gather a lot of material for this. So it'll be great if you guys like and subscribe and share my video as well. It will be highly appreciated. So till then, the next video, I'll take your leave, and I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you very much, and have a good day.